I entered the World Championships for Lawn Mower Racing. On my Group 3, we had some absolutely incredible racing, but in one race, it all went very wrong. So here we are on the grid here at the World Championships, and you might notice things are a little bit different. Rather than a staggered reverse grid like normal, we're all in a line. So it means the battle for the first corner is really heated. The racing into that first corner means everything. So here we are, we get started. You can see 5 lights on and 5 lights off. It's all about the getaway, and you can see everyone beats me off the line as we come through here. So 3 of us into the top corner. I'm just following around, trying to find my way around. So Dan in front in the 32, the luminescent green kit. We're really trying to battle him and Algridus out in front. The guys at the front of the pack were so quick. So this is where our battle was. As we come around that tight right-hander, we come into this really tight complex down this backside of the track. And this circuit, this time round, was super slippery, very dusty, very sandy, very hard to drive on, actually. Really struggled. As we come through for a lap, I'm going to talk you through this one. So a long right-hander, you get it turned in, really get your weight over to the right. This left-hander had a massive bump just there. Look at that. The whole lawnmower comes up in the air. On the brakes, down into this right-hander. Algridus runs wide as we look up the inside, try and get him here, but he just gets a run down this mini straight. There's a left that goes straight into a right, so trying to keep the mower composed is really important as we follow Algridus around here. Another right and then up through a straight with a slight kink in it. So a really tight track compared to usual. Very small, and these races are only 4 laps long as we come through here. So we're just trying to have a look. I know Algridus is roughly on our pace, so we were battling with him for the weekend, so we get a better run through him through that right-hander. As we come down here, I'm just looking. I know I've only got a lap, 2 laps to get by him here, so we're just trying to figure out where we're strongest and where he's weakest. He runs slightly wide as I go up the inside, around the outside of this right-hander, and just get by. Trying to get back on the throttle, you can see him flash through there as we come through 1 lap board, and this is the finish. So we managed to hold on, and that is a 3rd in our first race. Straight into the second race. So here we are on the grid again, and you can see I really struggled off the start. So 5 of us this time. Dino got his mower going again, and as we come through here, we're in last. We're trying to find our way up through the pack. I knew Algridus was my biggest battle in this World Championship standings. Currently I was in 5th. I missed the first 4 races of the weekend, which is really bad. Put me down a load of points, and I was battling Algridus for that 4th spot. As we come through here into the left-hander again, I knew this is where I was strongest. It was through the tight corners that I was gaining. And then down the straight, watch this, Algridus just walks away from me. I think he was running a slightly lower gear, meaning he was a little bit better on the straights. But again, with this brand new engine, I didn't want to ruin it, so I stuck with this gearing and made it work. So as we come through here, I know I'm having to gain on the entry to the corners here. You can see I'm gaining a little bit there, apart from here where I run wide. Speaking of which, so we need to spend the next lap gaining back onto the back of Algridus. As we come through here, I'm knowing this is my last opportunity. We're into the final lap of this race. So I get a good run down the straight, which is unusual. He runs a little bit deep. I'm trying to find any way, but he's just managing to put his mower right in the right spot. You can see I'm shouting in my helmet trying to find my way around. He goes a little bit deep through here. We're thinking, can we go up the inside? Can we go up the inside? No, he just blocks off that line. Whereas we get a good run, but again, I have to back off to allow him to come through, and that's a checkered flag. So that is a 5th place for that race. But after a series of tough results, I was given a gift. Look at this. Algridus and Dan have a battle. Go a little bit deep into turn 1, and we stick it up the inside.
Off goes Leclerc, through goes Hamilton!
Super happy with that. So we're up in 3rd place. This is our chance to capitalise, to pull back some points after missing out on those 4 races at the beginning of the day. Really set me back. Dan has a look up the outside. He gets a better run, but I know I've got the inside for this one. I run him wide slightly and just managed to stay ahead. So we come around this bottom corner, and I know I have to hug the inside. I knew that Dan was a little bit quicker on the straights, but if I covered the inside, he'd struggle to get round. Next lap, we jump forward. I get on the throttle to come out of this corner, and he just gets a better run than me again. I don't manage to shut the door on the exit, and Dan goes around the outside, so we're back down to 4th. I'm having a look round, seeing if I can get up the inside. take back my third place, but I just couldn't find a way around Dan. He was a fair bit quicker, so it meant that I had to get ahead early on in the race to have a chance of battling him. He's been racing many more years than I have, and so I was really pushing myself to try and find my way around. You can see just how bad that jump's got on that right-hander. Really, really tough there. As we come through here, you can see just how sandy and difficult these conditions are. Where it normally gets a little bit muddy and it grips up, this track just never ever got any grippier. As we come through here for the final lap, I'm closing in right on the back of Dan after he makes a small mistake, but I just can't do it as we come through to finish that race. You can see little thumbs up to Dan there. I think we both enjoyed that race. That was good fun. And on to the next one. Now on the line here, we've got 5 lights on and 5 lights off. We don't get a good getaway. Well, to be fair, it was good for me, but these guys are so quick off the start. As we go around the outside of Dan, just send it in on the brakes. That corner really lends itself to that. As we come through, follow our greeters. We're right on the back of him here. So we go up the inside, have a look, and he's just got the run. I have to back out there. But again, we're all over him at this point of the race. I know I have to get my moves done early to capitalise here. As we follow our greeters through, we come down the back straight and he just starts to pull away, but we really are in the hunt here. As he goes a little bit hard on the brakes, sliding the rear end to the corner. You've got to be really delicate here. This track was so bizarre, really bizarre to drive on. It was like sandy. It was like you're trying to race on the beach. It honestly was strange. So as we crack on with this race, our greeters runs a little bit wide as we manage to take the position. Again, just getting lost in that sandy dirt on this track. If you get out wide, it really punishes you. And we jump through to the final lap and I throw it away. Look at that. I run just a little bit deep and Dan sticks a mower up the inside and takes third away from me. That third we were really pushing for. He took it away from me on the final lap.
Tiny mistake.
I didn't realise it was the last lap either.
Yeah.
It was just it wasn't even like you went majorly wide, it was just
It's
enough
just enough, yeah.
for me to poke up the inside and get a run.
Now, after a series of tough results, I was really starting to find my groove here, starting to learn the track. So 5 lights on and then 5 lights off, a random pause there. But again, you could see the starts. No matter what I did on the start, I could not find my way through. But this is where I was best, trying to find. So I'm just trying to go round the outside of Dan. I managed to go round the outside there and then up the inside of the next left-hander. The track really lent itself to trying to go around the outside there. So I cracked on with that, and now I'm just knowing I have got the pace to catch out greeters. So if I can get in front of him, this could be a really good result here. So we're on the back of him, and it's all about pressuring on these lawnmowers. So we've got Group 3 lawnmowers. They're very square, they're very small, and around these circuits you can really race close. So I'm defending up the inside here, getting on the throttle, just managed to pull up. You can see wherever there's a straight, our greeters pulls out ahead, but then wherever there's a tough, tricky corner, I managed to close back in here. So you can see he runs wide there out on the dust. So we're getting a good run up into this left-hander, just trying to get on the back of him to pressure him. So you can see through that complex, I managed to get right up on the back. And I try and look up the inside, and I managed to just squeeze by on the exit. So I'm covering the inside. Now I'm up into third place. This is exactly what we need. We need to put points on these guys to get back ahead in the World Championship standings. And yes, that does sound mad. It's a bit like the Americans crowning themselves World Baseball Champions in a game that no one else really plays. But the British Lawn Mower Association, this is where Lawn Mower Racing started. So we host the World Championships and we are entered as part of that. So I'm cracking on with this, trying to get our good result as we come through the final corner, shutting the guys off, not allowing them to come past as we get our third place and cross through the checkered flag.
They've done it! Absolutely incredible!
Now, as things started to go right, it all went very wrong in this race. So we come down the start again. Everyone goes for it into the first corner. I spot a space. I send it up in there, but just hit Dan. I had to back out. The engine almost stalled, but I managed to get it back going again. So here, I just wanted to catch up to these guys. After a series of good results, I wanted another one, and I was pushing so hard after that early mistake. I was really pushing. I send it into this left-hander, try to stay away from the dirt on the outside. As we get on the throttle really early, we come around this corner and there's a block in the way and it throws us off. And you see the mower comes down on top of me there as everyone comes over, and I've just gone over the front of the mower and hit the floor. Look at this. Now let me explain what happened here. This was entirely my fault, to be clear here. So I turn in, and you see I just go around the first block, but the second block was sticking out. I swear it was a little bit more than it was before, but it's completely my fault. I was pushing way, way too hard, running way too close to them. And you see, as I hit it, it just chucks the mower over. I hit the floor, and the mower actually landed on my leg there. So it's why it's so painful getting up. But anyway, we shook that off for the next hour and got straight in to the next race.
Collarbone all right? Collarbone, yeah.
So after a DNF in that race, it was time to make up for it. A little bit achy, and you can see my steering wheel's a bit bent because that's what it landed on. The whole thing, I was just checking it was all alright. To be fair, the thing held up after bouncing across the track after that roll. So, lights go on and lights go off. Again, a pretty decent start for me, actually. I was happy with that one. As we come into this corner, I follow Algridis through. Dan tries to go around the outside of him, but that lets me through. I go around the outside of this left-hander up through that bump again. That was getting worse and worse throughout the weekend. So we're right on the back of Algridis. The same story we've had a lot through this video, and it's just going to be about trying to find our way past. And I knew, again, through this section, this is where I was good. And he just has a bit of an engine issue. I think it was a little bit of fuel starvation he had over the bump. It gives me the inside as we go through up into third place. So I knew after my errors early on in this video that I just had to defend all the way to the inside, point to point, run apex to apex, and not let anyone up the inside and never leave the door open. That's kind of what I've learned over the past couple of months racing these things, is that if you hold the inside, you make them do the hard work. And especially on a circuit like this, trying to go around the outside through that thick, deep, like sandy mud, they're going to really struggle to do it. As we come through here to take our third position, we were really happy with that. And after 2 days of really hard-fought, great racing, I actually secured fourth in the World Championships. You may say, Callum, that was out of 5. There was 6 to begin with, but we'll take that. Fourth in the World Championships. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.